We have been in a fog, and as we've emerged, we see that the world has been pushed to the brink, and so have you. I'm Dr. David Orrs, I'm the Doc of DeFi, and I invite you on a double major education, one of health, one of wealth, and how the two interact. So here I am out in one of my favorite places, contemplating what's been going on in the crypto space lately. This is the perfect place to come because it counteracts any of the negative vibes that I might have had while listening to the various conversations in the crypto communities these days. You know, this reminded me of something that happened a while back during my medical school training. There was a resurgence of measles. This was sometime in the 1980s. And despite the efforts of public health with children and an immunization campaign or an education on infectious diseases, there was a resurgence. It was creeping up in areas of North America. And this caused a lot of concern, a lot of panic actually. And there were very few people who had gone through anything like it. Wild measles and what that looked like and what it was to be a caregiver of someone with that, that knowledge was few and far between. Luckily, there were some members of the faculty in the medical school I was in that did remember what that was like, and they were able to offer perspective on this trend that we had not seen before. And that was quite useful. So I think that, you know, what's going on in the crypto space these days, if you're not aware, there is what we're calling a downward or bear market going on right now. And in some cases, certain assets look like they may not make it. And so that is causing some concern for people in my community. Some of them who were just relatively new to the space, maybe in the last 3 years, they have not gone through a downward market or a bear market. They actually came in when you can almost do no harm and everything was just going up and up and up. And thank goodness that they're within a community of people who have gone through the ups and downs. I personally entered this very briefly back in 2018. And I didn't know a lot about it, and I was basically simply day trading on a coin called Bitcoin that I had just heard about. And, you know, I bought it at the very, very dip. It had gone as high as 20,000. It was down to about 3 when I got in. And so I had heard about this volatility. I was just on the tail end of it and got a small taste of it then. And fast forward to now, these last 6 months, for 5 to 6 months as I've gotten involved, we were in a bit of a sideways market when I stepped in. Again, this particular asset, and of course it doesn't speak for the entire crypto space, but let's, for the sake of brevity, talk about Bitcoin, had gone as high as almost $60,000, I believe, at one point, and now we find ourselves with the coin worth half that amount at this time. So I got in just as it was starting to come down in these last few months, 4 to 5 months, and so I was. It was great for me because I was just really learning the space properly, learning a lot more about the fact that it was just a lot more than emotional and day trading, and it was great for me because the market was sort of moving sideways, and I was able to do my trial runs and tests and assignments that I had been given in the academy in this kind of market. So that was great for me, and I spun that as a positive. The other thing, of course, is maturity level as an investor. So I was just getting back into it. My portfolio is not very large. I knew that I didn't have the bandwidth to manage a very large portfolio because of all my other commitments. So I kept it small. And although I did branch out and do some things called liquidity pools and staking, and some speculative coins as well as the blue chip coins, it was all very small. And yes, I was not able to watch it as diligently as I should, and I didn't have um, a discipline that was beyond once a month for the moment. And I was prudent, and I kept the portfolio small. So yeah, I got caught. Absolutely, there's a lot of worry about some of the things that I'm invested in, but it's for myself extremely small. So if it goes down the tube, um, that's a great learning lesson for me. I will know how to put more discipline in, um, over instead of a one or twice a month cursory look into something better. And it won't be an expensive lesson, but it's a lesson nonetheless. But there are people out there, hopefully, who, if they've had bigger portfolios, is because they grew with their portfolio, their sophistication grew with their portfolio, their abilities to be nimble within a market and react. Uh, was part of their plan. They were able to know how to be nimble, but of course they should have also had some sort of advanced planning going on in the form of what we call stop losses. So it's not simply a reaction, but so that was the way I approached this whole thing, is that my portfolio would grow as my sophistication grew. My portfolio would entail a lot of stop losses, a lot of premeditated decisions on what I want to have happen in case of some scenarios. But then what I'm talking about in becoming more nimble is that I would also know how to, in addition to that, react and be more nimble with regards to um, getting in and rescuing in the event of a catastrophic change, which some might argue this is right now that we're going through. Um, Maybe not, maybe catastrophic is a bit too strong of a word, but perhaps that's some food for thought. So if you just got into the space, you got in during the heyday kind of thing, and you might not be used to what's going on right now. You might not have been exposed to it. But if you're in a crypto community, you can find solace with people that have been there a bit longer and can give some perspective for you. I truly hope that this doesn't dissuade you from the space at all, that this should be a long-term play, and this is going to make everybody that much more sharp with their strategies and what they've learned. It will solidify resolve and conviction as well. It's always what you do when you're down, and how you react, that defines you. And so there's a lot of growth and learning going on here. There's a lot of silver lining going on here. And that's not seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. So anyways, hope that is beneficial. If you liked what you heard, just share and especially if you don't quite know how to speak to somebody in your influence, somebody in your circle, and maybe something I've said here, you think would speak to them. So that would be great. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments that I've been getting, and look forward to the next one.